Our mission is to give our athletes the tools to fulfill their max potential by sharing our conversations here from the masters of the craft.
Guys, welcome to episode Trace.
Welcome back.
Trace, we kind of figured out some of the things.
Yep. Getting to hang on some technical stuff.
Kind of. Yeah.
You know.
God damn.
Yeah.
We'll have to do some more technical stuff, but it's getting there.
Yeah, learning it with each episode.
We're switching up how it looks a little. We're,
lighting's there, right?
You know, when you start a business, it's never easy.
Yeah, it's a startup.
It's a startup.
We're a startup.
Yeah, and we are dealing with startup money.
Look at Amazon.
Very low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amazon was a book website.
Out of a garage.
Out of a garage.
You know?
We're at least in a basement.
We're just a podcast in a basement.
Podcast in a basement.
Right.
Dude, that's a good podcast.
Right?
Yeah. Segue to...
Catch out our next episode at Podcast in a Basement.
Our next channel.
Yeah, sister channel.
Yeah. Sister channel.
Podcast in the Basement. Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome back. I kind of wanted to... Found this quote. Setting up our outline for this episode. So, kind of get us going. You don't rise to the level of your expectations. You fall to the level of your preparation. I'm going to botch this name, but it was a Greek poet. Archilochus. I think that's a good little powerful statement of what this episode is going to be kind of centered around. Obviously, we're going to have our tangents, but, just what you say best. You don't plan to fail, you just fail to plan, I think that's a good quote to start off this testing by fire journal entry,
Totally.
If you guys have been watching, we've kind of talked about why we're here, the grind of wrestling and coaching and this podcast. And, then episode 2 or entry 2, we discussed habits and standards to set up teams and yourself for success. So I think our next one is adversity. How do you fight through that adversity and still improve and trust the process and up, A lot of people, when they fail or face adversity, what do?
Quit?
They quit. But like a bunch of pussies. I'm just kidding. I've quit before.
I've quit before, too.
We've all been there, guys.
Yeah.
Right? We've all been there. But it's crazy, we think, every time we talk about wrestling, we talk about how hard it is. Right? And it's like every practice is adversity. When are you not facing adversity?
It's constant adversity.
It's just constant. You're fighting in the trenches. You're sweating your balls off. You're cutting weight. You're mad at the coach. You're getting beat up. Dude, today at practice, I wanted to be there as a coach, but every time I had to go wrestle, I was hurting. It was one of my worst wrestling practices.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's like I needed a warm-up.
Yeah.
Everyone got a warm-up. I didn't get the
yeah,
warm-up.
right.
And I'm not a warm-up guy, which is not good, by the way. Especially as a coach getting older. But man, I did that hand fighting with our 65-pounder, and he afterwards was like, I don't want to go. My head hurt. It was just scratch. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I went with the heavier guys and didn't want to be there.
Didn't feel much better.
And it's just like, man, it always brings you back to that foundational question of, why do we do this? Why? But, love it. We're here for it. And never going to leave it. I don't foresee that.
No.
Shit.
Well, so are we reintroducing ourselves again?
We can.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
It is episode 3, right? If you haven't seen our first 2 episodes, go check those out. Make sure to subscribe. Yeah, go check those out. But
at the end of this video, there'll be a nice button to subscribe.
Right.
I didn't put it here, but maybe we could put it here.
Could be over there too.
Oh yeah.
Maybe right
Actually,
here.
I don't know where the editor is going to put it. Just hit that button if it pops up. But yeah, introduce,
Yeah, I'm Steven. A coach, former athlete, working professional.
Yeah, this
Got
is not our
my.
day job, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Could it be?
That'd be sweet.
Followers?
Make sure to subscribe.
Follow button.
If you want this to be our day job, make sure to subscribe.
If you want more content by Stephen McLean, hit that subscribe button.
And yeah, just here to talk wrestling, talk coaching, talk mindset, and just cool things that I've learned or heard or seen or witnessed or interested in about the coaching and the journey of progress and trying to get better at whatever it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, it could be.
For instance, wrestling.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We focus wrestling here.
Yep.
But you can be better, getting better at anything.
Mm-hmm.
Track. Curling. Speaking of curling, this Olympics, Madison, my wife, she has said it's really boring to watch. I've enjoyed watching curling, dude. Like the amount of precision, and it's just barely spinning. It's barely curling. Like I'm used to bowling curl. You hit that spinning. I don't know how long a bowling alley is, but curling must be a much longer.
I think so. It seems like it's like an Olympic-sized pool type length. Like, you know.
You never know. They're just down there. But the U.S. they're in gold medal match. By the time you watch this, you'll know who the winner is. But
let's go U.S. Dude, that is awesome.
They beat the Italians.
Wow.
Yeah, the good old pizza eating people.
Dang.
Dude, the Italian. So it's mixed doubles. That's the one I'm talking about specifically. But the Italian girl smoking up. It's crazy. I was like, I'm used to the Midwesterners curling because in Wisconsin they had curling league.
Right.
Not saying Midwesterners are ugly, but let's be honest. There's more there. There's more to love.
A lot of corn out there.
There's a lot of corn.
Yeah.
It's cold. You need that extra layer to
right.
warm up in the winters. And so when I saw the Italian, I was like, well, I'm impressed that she was an attractive lady curling.
Right.
Usually you think the attractive are the track stars, the soccer, the hockey, skiers, all that kind of stuff. No, this curling lady she was built for success.
Yeah. Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah, if you're getting good at curling, you can watch our podcast and it might be okay for you.
Mm-hmm. Could help.
Could help you. My name's McLean. Same boat as Steven. Former athlete, collegiately. We both wrestled in college. Now we're focused on coaching and we're trying to, I don't know, I don't want to speak for Steven, but we had such a good time wrestling in college and being in the sport. Now we're trying to pass along that satisfaction of what the sport's done for us to other kids. I mean, they don't necessarily have to wrestle in college, but damn if you do, man, you have a free fraternity for life. You have all of these benefits that we've personally seen.
Yep.
And so it's kind of nice to pass the torch,
right?
Per se. Because, I don't foresee, it'd be awesome to coach a college team, because then for sure that could be our day job.
Yeah.
But I don't foresee that happening, at least right now. We'll see how Coach's Journal does and how good we get at coaching. But, giving these high schoolers just the chance to be confident in what they do and, like you said, get better at anything that they do. We have a lot of kids who wrestle and they're better at rugby. We have that kid at OSU.
Right.
In rugby.
Yep.
Things like that. Army, military. Our senior that's going to the Army
next
year.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressed with them.
Yep. Same.
Wrestling really...
I think it did a lot for him.
Oh, yeah. And it prepared him for what the Army is going to make him do.
Mm-hmm.
So much. And, you should see this kid. Tall, skinny, and wrestling really showed him mentally how he can not fix that, but get to where he needs to be one of our soldiers on the front line.
Right.
And he has a whole plan. He was telling us about how he wants to get all the benefits, and then when he comes back from tour, go to school for free, get. Oh God, what did he want to go to school for? Oh, he like wants to go to school. So then, exactly what he does for school is he's gonna get a house. It was like this whole plan. I was like, whoa, good man. And it wasn't like a
Lined out.
yeah, it wasn't necessarily a college degree. It was a degree for something. Man, I wish I could remember it.
For like a trade.
It's gonna kind of, but not really. It wasn't like electrician or something like that. I'll have to ask him again. Remind me if I don't. You know me, I'll probably
For sure.
I'll come to you some random day. Hey, guess what? Our senior said this.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I'm like, just have to remember. But whatever. Yeah, that's us. Episode 3. Okay.
We aren't claiming to be the best. We're only trying to become better every damn day. This is the Coach's Journal.
Oh,
Let's go.
the Coach's Journal. Wow. I think that was our shortest intro
It was.
to date.
It was.
I think
We're starting to dial in.
we're starting to dial it in a little bit. I also think the delay of the cameras and microphones really threw a wrench in the thing. If we need an IT guy, guys, hit the subscribe button so we can get enough money to hire an IT guy.
Comment. If you know an IT guy, comment his name, tag him in this video.
Yeah. I think my USB drivers are not working, but whatever. We found ports that worked, and here we go. Well, so I guess for our first talking point, we kind of have this rhythm of talk about the athlete portion, how we coach, and then kind of bring it back to identity and faith and things like that. So for this facing adversity, testing by fire, that kind of stuff, what sort of, or how do we expect our athletes to respond to pressure versus how do they currently respond? Like, does that make sense what I'm asking? Like, how do athletes currently respond to pressure? And what do we expect from them? And are our expectations too high, just right? Or could we evaluate how we're reaching those expectations? It's a lot of questions.
Yeah, a lot of questions in there, right? Well, what was the first part? Like, how does an athlete respond
How does an athlete
to
respond
pressure?
currently?
Yeah.
Just in general. We can stereotype this and then...
Yeah, this is a stereotype for sure. So you've got
average high school athlete.
right, your average guy. Let's just say average person or teenager
Yeah, we're talking
dealing
about 14 to 18
right,
year olds. Yeah.
average teenager dealing with stress.
And they have a lot of it.
Oh yeah. I think probably like the average reaction is like they get like hyped up maybe.
Yeah.
Right? You see them getting hyped up and excited and overstimulated in their mind. Their thoughts bounce around.
Do you think athletes have more stress now than we did in high school? Not just sports related or goals related, but just in general. Do you think like social media plays a factor in stress?
So that's an interesting question. And there's stress, I think physical stressors or of your life, and I think there's perceived stress.
Oh.
And I believe that I think generation over generation physical stresses have decreased. So we experience less stresses than our parents experienced, which is less
Physical
stresses
stress.
than their parents experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Perceived stresses, however, are on the rise. Our parents perceive their stresses as higher than their parents, and we perceived ours as higher as their parents, and I believe the next generation's doing the same. I think that kind of ties into how the older generation always looks at the younger generation as right, that kind of thing. But whereas the younger generation is like, they don't know what they're talking.
Boomers.
They didn't have this, blah blah. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know how hard it is. That kind of thing. So I think those.
And we're talking strictly high school.
Yep.
Because I will say, once you're an adult, I think we're dealing with things that our parents probably didn't deal with, right? But in high school, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Now, I think issues and things that people are dealing with, but I don't think that changes the type of stressor. Humans handle, I think through life or through generations, humans experience the same kind of stress. It's just what is the thing that is the stressor.
Mm-hmm.
Back, it used to be lions and dinosaurs that we're running from. That's our stressors.
That's a
right?
Stressor.
Pretty big.
Well, we never. Let's be fair. Humans never ran from dinosaurs, but.
And now sometimes the stressor is, am I going to make the bus on time?
Right.
To make my next bus.
Am I going to get to work on
time? And then how that stressor, if that one. So now getting into your question, how do they deal with stress, right? I think the common thing that teenagers do is to let a little stressor kind of domino themselves, and it allows these other little stressors that wouldn't really be that big, but it affects, and so it dominoes into the next and the next, and it turns into a big stressor, and now you've got this unbridled teenager who feels like they're holding the weight of the world on their shoulders. And
do you think, not to, but talking about the little stresses in life, and there's so many books and information out there to read about stress and life, but a lot of that common knowledge, or the common message that information tries to get to you is like, don't let the little things bother you, right? So maybe, for next season, because our season's close to an end, maybe we focus on perceived stress versus physical stress sort of curriculum, in addition to what we've been working on this year. Because I think some of these kids do think, look at some of the kids and their girlfriends. They put the girlfriend down as a stressor or an added pressure or expectation. And it's like, guys, you're 16, you're probably not going to marry this girl. Not to be mean. And I'm sure you're in love, and we had girls and all this kind of stuff, but probably not going to be your, right? So, losing a match in front of your girlfriend, probably not going to end, it sucks, it's an embarrassment, but dude,
not a world ender.
Yeah. That long game is so much longer than I think these kids understand.
Totally.
It might be a good thing to discuss, because I think
it's really hard though, because
sure.
I put myself back in high school, and I had these plans for sure, because they sounded, but to actually put it into a picture of what outside of my parental authority and outside on my own looked like and felt like, I had zero idea and of what I knew it'd be awesome, and it's something I was really looking forward to, but that was the only thing I could actually fathom. And when it comes down to it, it was like that much. Compared to the real stressors that come on, all the actual joy is like, ooh, okay. Yeah, it is fun, but it's a little scary, till you get the hang of it. But
maybe we can just plant those seeds of because I agree that it is hard, and we're never gonna get a kid to forget about a girl when he's prancing around or whatever at a tournament. But we can just plant those seeds of
100%.
And some kids, dude. How many kids have we met? And it's been mostly our good guys who don't date during wrestling season. Not saying girls are. This is just a good example of an added stress to a man's life in high school and a girl's life. Holy crap! If we were coaching girls wrestling, who knows?
Man,
drama that would unfold, right? But our 165 pounder asked him if he has a girlfriend. His response was, "I don't date during wrestling." Head coach when he was in high school, "I don't date during wrestling."
Yep.
It took away a stressor.
Dude, even we, our senior year was like, We basically shut it
Yeah,
down for like
we
3
did.
months.
I I didn't because I that one sucked, and I think it added a stressor. It added a stressor. That's why I'm a qualifier, not a finisher. No, that's not it. But it did add something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember after regionals, I drove over to her house because it was over Valentine's Day, which is just always how it happens. And it added a not so happy moment after I just qualified.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have no idea. And I can't put myself back. I'm pretty bad with my memory and going back and putting myself in those situations. But I think we can add something as coaches to tell these kids. It might go in one ear, out the other. Who knows? But that's definitely something to, let's focus on the real stressors
Mm-hmm.
of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Your big matches, your big tournaments, the Doc B's, the Iron Mans, the Top of the Rockies, if anyone's ever heard of it. I mean, those are the pressures we need to be worried about and handling during wrestling season. Specifically, football. It's the state playoff game. It's the homecoming game. It's, those are the stresses that we need to learn to manage. So, like, as coaches, maybe we can tell them, hey, let's get rid of all these stresses and focus on these stresses. Now, how do we expect... Let's say we get the perfect kid. We can take out all the outside stress. Now we have the regionals, the states, the Doc B's, or whatever. What is our expectation for them to handle? Is it truly calm mind? They have no pressure on them. They go out and just self-to-dominate? Or, like, do we lower that expectation? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
I think so. Like if we had the ability to cherry pick the stresses that a kid comes into the season with,
Or different
and
pressures?
then
Yeah.
right, and then you're asking how would we coach them to deal with just that collective set of pressures?
How do we
Or
coach them currently? But what? So ideally.
sorry, I didn't mean to confuse it.
No. I think I confused it. So let's just take the two spectrums. We have a kid who handles pressure and stress really well, and we have a kid who handles stress and pressure poorly.
Right.
Where do our expectations of how they handle big matches or big tournaments fall on this scale? From handling it well or handling it poorly? Do our expectations fall in the middle, or do we expect them to be perfect? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, we don't want them here.
Yeah.
But if we expect perfect, we're never gonna. We'll probably get 1 or 2 every 7.
I expect like an 8 or 9
out of 10. So if we did 2
Yeah.
out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then how do we coach it? How do we? Cale Sanderson's approach, in my opinion, is there's no pressure. He's a very who gives a crap.
It's a game.
It's a game.
Yep.
This wrestling doesn't identify you. All the things that we hear from those kids. And he's doing it. But damn, if you just say there's no pressure, 0 pressure, go out there, throw headlocks all tournament. I don't see our kids winning tournaments doing that. Not that technique, but
Right.
just having the no pressure. But you know what I'm trying to... Like, his expectations... I don't know if he goes in with expectations. Based on...
He does. Yeah.
Internally. I don't think his kids know what his expectations are. Does that make sense? Based on what they say and how they react and how they talk about him, does he take the team expectations and national title, right? But does he take that and just rely on all of the individuals' own expectations? So he doesn't put any... He doesn't apply any pressure. It's all on the kid. Right? And so how do we coach that? Where it's like...
So I think it's trickle down. I don't know Kale. I'm not in his mind. I wish I
I know,
was.
I wish
Oh
I
my
was too.
gosh,
We're
right?
trying to
Oh my
speculate here.
gosh.
Kale,
But
subscribe.
yeah, give us some insight.
At Kale
But
Sanderson.
if I were to guess, it's he's got a baseline expectation of that it's all built on. So I'm not gonna say what I think Kale says. I'm just gonna think what I think the right answer is. Okay,
I'm
what?
gonna say what
Because
I think that I think you think.
yeah, but I think he might think he thinks is the right answer,
And then thinks.
and I'm think that's right. I think is his baseline is perform your best. Just do your fucking best. If you do your
You
best,
think he cusses?
no, I think he has before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What kid do you think made him cuss? Not the tangent. But
Oh, I
this
know.
This is a funny question. Do you think Nick Sirianni made him cuss?
Maybe, probably, yeah.
Do you think
Yeah.
he cussed at Braden after Braden shoved Hardy off of him? Or does
Yeah, I was like, that was fucking stupid.
yeah right? It's nothing mad. He's never
Yeah.
yelling. Or
Yeah.
like when Bo Nickel beat Miles Martin and he jumps in his arms, that fucking icon.
Oh, right.
You think he cussed that day and said that was fucking awesome?
Or you're the fucking man,
Yeah,
or something like that.
Oh, dude.
I know. Warranted, right?
Warranted.
Totally warranted. No, but it's that's his expectation is so you're a recruit. I've recruited you to be here
Because I think you're this good.
because right. So I think you've at least hit that baseline. Now my expectation is that you perform to your best, and my expectation is that you believe that you perform to your best. That you believe that you can do what I think that you can do. And I think that's his baseline. And if the kid and basically their performance, any gaps in the performance is not because he's got the wrong, but they show. Hang on, Steven. Their performance shows the gaps in their beliefs in themselves and not hitting those expectations. So, like, let's take.
Puts it on them.
Right. Let's take, like, all of them are ranked number one basically right now anyway, but let's just take Marisola, the heavyweight. Okay, so he's the lowest ranking of all the guys. Yeah. And the last duel I watched, he was the only loss, but he lost by a last-second takedown, and everyone else
Tech, major.
pretty much, there's bonus points across the board. So it's like you try to think, okay, as a coach, is Kale pissed at him because he broke the streak, right? Like, what makes a person's performance, especially when in something like wrestling, where you can literally perform at your best and still lose. You could perform the best you've ever performed and still lose, Or you can perform the worst that you've ever performed and still win, right? So the result isn't the answer. However, but I think it shows in Kale's program because he has these guys who aren't number ones who he develops into number ones. Or he's got a squad full of, highly ranked guys, but they win the upset matches, right? So
K-Sac 2 years ago.
that's really, or they're keeping them closer than what they should be. They're getting decisioned instead of teched, or they're winning by one instead of getting majored. These kinds of things, and those are, I think, where Kale sees that if his athlete is reaching their expectation that he has for them, is this essentially, they're outperforming what they initially thought that they could do. Not even that, because I think that the moment you get a Penn State offer, you're like you believe. That's just, you dig further, this is a culture that Kale's built, right? It comes down to a culture he's built.
Well, you can't recruit in high school.
You can't. So then how do you?
Well,
So then I
there
guess.
are there are ways, right? People get around that shit, but yeah.
So then, yeah, if you bring it down to a high school level, how do you do it in 4 years? And especially with teenagers who are going through puberty and
Well, I think
changing in these house lives that you have no control
you're
of.
saying they have added pressure that we don't have control of and stressors.
Yeah, yeah,
I think we need going back. I mean, it came back right to it. If we can figure out a way to get all of their stress outside of wrestling away from wrestling, and they can focus on wrestling, we have that baseline of you have no pressure, outside pressure. Now the pressure's on yourself to get where we think you can be. Right? To your point of Kale brings in the people, and Kale recruits people, and boom, his expectation is up here. You're going to perform here, like you're saying. We're getting kids down here, but we think they can perform here. We're not going to put here because those are college, but we think they can perform here. Now it's on them to get here. Kale has them here. It's their job to be here. And because of other aspects that he's doing in the room, they're outperforming his baseline.
right.
So that goes deeper. Maybe Kale's doing what we're similarly doing. Our baseline is here. Kale's is up here. He might have expectations higher, but they only see, his coaching. He believes his coaching is going to give him to do the upsets, do the everything you were saying.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can create that culture where kids come in, we know you're down here, but in 4 years, you're going to be here.
Right. And going off of that is because Kale keeps as if we know what he does, right? Right. This
He has
is
a performance.
literally only because you brought him up as an example, right?
He's the perfect example of what we are
Right.
trying to emulate Coach Kale.
Right.
If there's not a coach out there, if there's a coach out there not trying to emulate Kale, you're doing it wrong. Have you not seen what he's doing?
Right.
I'm sorry, when Dan Gable was coaching, what did all the coaches want to do? They
Do
wanted
what Dan Gable did. Yeah.
Dan Gable, we were too young really for Dan Gable. He was definitely in the 90s.
It had its time. It was great.
It was huge.
Yeah. And there's plenty of aspects about it that are still completely relevant and what have built wrestling to where it is now anyway.
100%. Nothing. Dan did
Yeah.
everything he was the Kale.
A lot of what we're doing now wouldn't be possible
Right.
without that.
Especially with the clubs and all the stuff, all the additional opportunities these kids have before they come to high school or while they're in high school was not available. Dan had to do everything. Right? When he got
It's just like we're breaking into a new, generation of technology kind of thing, right?
Well,
we're going from 4th to 5th gen.
Yeah, and it's like
Well, we are.
I mean, but that man was gens 1 through 4, and Kale is definitely completely changed, and it's kind of crazy. It's crazy to watch.
Right. And
I don't know when they're gonna live.
I think that when you have a baseline like that, then you're not worried about my expectation is us winning duels, being dominant in duels. Like when you have that baseline, that takes care of everything else.
Yeah.
So that was what I was saying about the waterfall or trickle down effect is his main principle is be your best, compete at your best, give your best, have fun, right?
Yeah.
Wrestle for the important things, like those core values, and then when everyone's keyed into that and tuned in and dialed in, then the wins take care of themselves, and they just and that's why I think he doesn't have expectations for his wins and losses, because he can't imagine what they will be, because when it's firing all like that, there's no cap on the success that he could do. I don't think he has it numbered out like that.
Do you think his goals are
Because he's the guy to break all of those. He's been doing that his whole life.
Is he just a week-to-week basis kind of goal guy?
I think his goals are Like, literally, did I get better today, and in what way?
That basic.
That basic. Because he's done all the things, or he can do all the things,
He has to win
right?
this year
Like,
to tie
and I
Gable?
think even as an athlete,
Does he have to win this
he
year
was
to
still
tie?
doing he was doing things that no one's ever done before. So how do you set a goal like? And I've just heard this through a couple of sound bites of his, but one reporter asked, "Hey, what do you think about having 10 All-Americans or something?" He's like, "To be frank, yeah, that wasn't my goal, but that's great that they did it. They're wrestling well. You know, this is why I think they're doing it. You know, it's not that's his goal. It's the reason we're doing these things is because they're wrestling free. They're off
Our goal is to
firing.
get better.
They're hunting down points. Right. They're having fun with
Can you
it.
imagine you get 10 All Americans like, it wasn't my
So
goal.
when he's accomplishing that goal, then all these other boxes get checked.
So this comes back down to goal setting. And I think, if we do our camp this summer, I think we need to do some research and a huge classroom of goal setting. Because I think people, me being one of those people, believe that goal setting is, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a national champ, let's say.
That is the type of goal setting.
But
That you have to be able to do that before you can do, I think, the goal setting that I was mentioning that Cole does,
okay.
Kale does.
I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
Like,
So backward.
yeah, like that
Backward
type of
compatible.
goal setting, I don't think is fathomable,
For people who aren't. Yeah.
right? So Kale already knew that he could get to these things. So that was not beneath him, but they're within reach.
Okay, so do you think his next goal right now is beating Dan Gable's national championship record? Do you think that's on his goal board?
I think it's on his goal board as much as like you and me wanting to get our 20-year coaching pin is on our goal board.
Because it's just coming.
You stay in the game long enough, it's going to come around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's how he views it. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great to get. It's gonna be that'll be fun when we get there.
I'll have a beer.
Yeah, yeah. When we get there, talk to me on that day.
Did you know Kale didn't even like wrestling? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he likes basketball.
Yeah, he was a basketball
Yeah.
player.
Right.
Hear more secret stories about Kale. That was a funny video.
Yeah, it was.
Especially Kale's look like at the camera.
I know. He's like, oh, come on, be real.
Yeah. And then it cuts to the
Right, just dominating
Space
everybody.
Jam theme of him just
So awesome.
dude. So there I have this, especially like going through all these books, and like I have a newfound respect. Like not newfound respect for Kale, because I've always respected Kale. But it's like on another level. Like this guy is doing something that, like, what we've been learning the last couple months and starting this podcast and all this kind of stuff, like, it's hard. It's a lot. It's confusing. It's convoluted. It's, hard to understand. It's hard to grasp. It's nothing you can, like, it's not math. Not 2 + 2 = 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
This
It's
goes
very
deep.
intangible.
Intangible is a great word. And he did it so simply from right when he came out of high school. Unreal.
Mm-hmm.
He was touched by God.
Blessed for sure. 100%.
Blessed is a better word to say. But he's he gets me going, dude. He gets me going. We talked about a lot of this. I mean,
Well,
not in detail because we went off on a tangent about Kale.
for sure. There's since we're in this part of the season, right? The postseason,
Ooh.
like, what kind of pressures are different in the postseason compared to, say, the rest of the season, right? So, like, particularly right now, this week, we're going into regionals. What's different about these pressures, or what are they dealing with, or how do they get dealt with? Yeah. Let's talk current pressures, right? So our kids are going into regionals. We've got one who, has
Should be in the finals.
aspirations of being a state champion, but he just needs to get through this weekend, which shouldn't be a problem for him. We've got a couple other kids who have aspirations of qualifying, right? So this is a big weekend for them. We have other guys who didn't even really see that in the picture, but now I think they're seeing it as a possibility, and that's exciting. So like, there's some pressures for them, right? And then we've got other couple kids that really wanted it, and that's kind of up in the air right now if that could happen.
Well, so that comes to the question of how bad did they really want it? Those for the last ones we talked about. Like, guys, I'm gonna audience everyone. If you want something, you can't just say you want it. That doesn't make you work harder for it. Just because you tell someone that you want it. I want to be, that's like me saying I want to be a millionaire, and I don't go out and do these podcasts or look for other avenues and do my research to find all these different incomes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Me just saying I want something doesn't do it. Those guys are talking about who their aspirations were to be qualifiers, and it's up in the air for them. It's up in the air because how badly did they really want it? You know what I mean? And that's where it comes to those coaches' expectations too. Like, I think some of those kids see our expectations because we see the potential in them. Our whole fucking statement is we want our athletes to fulfill their max potential. We see the kids that you were talking about can be qualifiers. 100%, no doubt. They know enough wrestling. Their technique is strong enough that they can be qualifiers.
Yep.
But they probably won't be. And that's where it goes back to entry number 2, if anyone's watching. What's that foundational question? Why do you wrestle? Do you really want this? You can't just tell someone you want it, and then magically you want it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, those pressures, I don't see... Those pressures are internal pressures that broke down a long time ago, in my mind. The one you were talking about, are heavyweight, who he did not see this sport coming. It came in like a freight train. First year wrestler, sophomore in high school, 285 pounds, had to cut down to make weight. Offensive lineman, all state, stud, strong, athletic, like as athletic as a heavyweight can be, not Gable Stevenson. This weekend is a bigger pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
I think because he wants it. He fucking wants it, and he's putting in the effort to do it. He's learning. He's still fresh. He's green. He's not as technically good as the kids that say they want it and aren't really showing the want in other aspects. But when I talk to him about it, he's there mentally, and that's where it comes back to the 80% mental, 90% mental, whatever it is. It's a fuck ton of mental in wrestling. He has the mental. We can teach them the rest, the 10%.
Right.
The ones that are struggling with saying they want it and they're going to all the teachings, the teaching only gets you 10%, guys. The workouts only get you 10%. There's a whole chunk of you that you need to figure out to get what you think you want. And our heavyweight, he wants it to. If he has a good week this week, which kind of sucks about his little situation, but if he has a good week this week and next week practice-wise, I would not be shocked if he places at all.
I could foresee it for sure.
He's wrestled these kids tough. The 5th ranked guy, tough, like losing by a last-second frickin' takedown. And that could have been, the vibe and the mat lamp and all these things. Like, kids get hyped and they use that adrenaline. But I think being in Ball Arena, I think he's going to feel that. And
I think he'll rise to the occasion
I
for
think
sure.
he will. He rose to the occasion last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it wasn't like, but he did exactly what he should have done. He did not come close to losing a match.
Right.
He did exactly what that was for.
Did he even get taken down?
No.
I don't think he got taken down once.
He did not get a point score.
Dominant.
He did exactly
Dominant.
what is going to get
Let's
Cole in trouble.
did exactly what we
Wanted.
yeah.
Like, you did exactly what you needed to do. But, a couple years ago, that one school that brought in, who's the guy in Michigan? For CC, or he's not. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a Michigan wrestler from Colorado who wrestled at the tournament that our heavyweight wrestled at last weekend. He's as a junior, he wrestled at this tournament.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
From
wow.
the good old school in Parker.
Oh.
But he was ineligible
Right.
for the transfer. So he couldn't wrestle. So it's like, okay, but like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, yeah. It's like barely a warm up for him.
Right. Anyway. I agree with the different pressures. Sorry, I didn't mean to get
No,
off
yeah,
the
I was talking about, there's different pressures throughout the season, and definitely say, it's interesting to see how they flow throughout, but now we're in the postseason, right? So like going back as an athlete, but I can only imagine how our kids are feeling. But I think from what we've done throughout the whole season, leading up into this week, they're in a good spot. Like not that they don't have doubt, but I don't think that we've done a good job in building a fortress where there's if there's any cracks for doubt to seep through, it's because they haven't been doing the patchwork. But if they've been building the way we've been doing, which I can see a lot of them have, like they look confident, they look ready.
I think our 13-pounder is going to win 2 or 3 matches.
I mean, they look. You can see it in their eyes, right? Like there's there's confidence there, there's steadiness there.
Yeah.
I was looking at them today, and there's no like deer in the headlights or oh man. So
I'm telling you, over under our 13-pounder is 2.
Yeah, 2-2.
No, 2 matches over under to win.
Oh, to win.
I think he wins 2.
Yeah, I think so.
At regionals, I don't think he's going to place because he is lacking in strength.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's turning a corner, man. That I think he can win 2 matches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the rankings and stuff, but going off of the pressures that our kids are seeing, okay, that they're putting on themselves, hopefully, or that all their different pressures that they're seeing. Does their pressures add to our pressures as coaches? So, like, what are our pressures that we're seeing going into something like regionals? But then how do the kids' pressures add on to that, right? We have to feel some of that. We have these kids who think they're going to qualify, and we unfortunately don't foresee that happening. That's got to weigh on us as coaches, don't you think? Like, fighting through that pressure, and like, not that they're going to be mad at us if they don't qualify, but we want them to do the best, especially based on everything they've told us, and they showed up most of the time.
I mean, yeah I carry the kids' stresses. Like I want them to. I want their wants, and I want their success. Even if sometimes they show that they don't want their own success. Not that they don't, but you know what I mean, right? That they show inconsistencies. There you go. I still want that success for them. I think there's really been only, in my experience, I think one match that I wouldn't say I lost sleep over, but I really got down over based on the result.
Can I ask which? Well, can I guess which match?
Yeah, it was a finals match.
I knew it.
Yeah, it was a finals match. And, circumstances, but it kid didn't win the match, got second place. And, I really felt that one as far as the weight and the disappointment that he had. But I was also in another situation where the kid lost his finals match, and I was disappointed for him, but I didn't feel that weight like that. Like, I didn't lose sleep after.
Who was the second one? Wait.
Huh?
Who was the second one?
Well, he wrestled 138s and 44s. Yeah. And, those are disappointing. But I guess
I think
as a coach, it wouldn't do me justice, and this is just my take on it, of your question. I feel like I wouldn't be able to be the rock and the steady stake in the ground for my athlete if I'm wavering emotionally as much as they're wavering.
Oh, right.
And so through the highs and lows, I got to stay grounded and rooted, and it's not emotionless. It's I'm feeling the disappointment with them, and I'm here, right? But also not the one out there wrestling, right? So we can only take on so much. We know how heavy the burden is to be out there, the guy in the middle of the mat. We're just on the sidelines.
Yeah, can you imagine if we fully took on that burden of a loss, let's say, for a kid? If we tried to empathize with how the kids felt, that kid coming off the mat is going to go downhill even further. You know what I mean? And that's,
we're the lighthouse, right? When the storm's here, we're the beacon of light, showing, hey, we're over here, come back. Yep.
Because if we're not, there are coaches out there, a kid loses a match we think they should have won. You can tell them, hey, we thought you should have won, but they already know that, right? And so we can't sit there and yell at them. And we see these coaches these days, the ones who are not trying to emulate Kale, yelling at the guys. And it's like, unless he...
Yeah, right before they even got off the mat.
I'm going to yell at him on the mat, for sure. Yeah. For sure. And that's where I kind of broke down this past weekend. Watching some of those guys just make the mistakes that we've been working on all year, and I kind of lost my cool. And I think it did affect the kids right after the match. And thankfully...
Go into that a little bit.
Yeah. I got it. I think, even though it was the end of their season, because it was JV State, I had to kind of reel back and, one of the kids, our 190-pounder, he disappointed me. I was very disappointed in him. But after the match, I know I have another year with him. It wasn't the end of his career with us. After he lost, I was like, dude, you've done everything we've at. Like, keep going. There's not much else I can say.
Good season.
And gave him a lot of
Hope to see you back next year.
Gave him a lot of positives. Hopefully he didn't see the way I was reacting in the corner, because I was very visually upset and frustrated because he was doing the dumbest things ever. But it just comes back adding that pressure on ourselves can hurt the athlete more than we think. We think we're taking on the burden for them. No. We're adding burden to them because we're showing them our expectations. We're showing them the failures that they did in our eyes. And that, I think that will break their confidence more so than their self-disappointment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Ultimately, right, they gotta they have to see their shortcomings for themselves, or
Yeah.
you know,
How
that's really where any change comes from.
right.
Is if you see it for
And if
yourself.
someone yells at you, if someone's like, Steven, you fucking dress like a slob, let's just say, not saying,
But all my friends dress like this.
right, you're gonna go out of your way and make a change and go probably too far one way or too far the other. It's gonna break you. Versus, you realize yourself that you dress like a slob, then you're gonna start doing, do your hair different, and then we're talking about getting dressed, but look at wrestling. Like, you lose the match. Obviously, the goal is not to lose the match. So if a coach is coming at you and saying, "How did you wrestle? You wrestled like shit. You lost so bad." Blah blah blah.
Or what if like I do dress like shit, but this is like the nicest pair of sweatpants that I've
Yes.
ever been able to purchase, and I finally got enough money to purchase them,
They're
and I
Lulu.
got them,
They're Lulu.
and I'm wearing them, baby, and I'm proud,
And
right? But then someone comes over, dude, why you dress like shit?
Don't say that, because you're just making.
Because that we've seen that too.
I've
You know?
done it to you. For the audience members, I'll tell a quick story. Steve and Aaron in high school never wore a hat. You decided to show up one day. I was a hat guy, as I am here now. Steven wore a hat, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "Well, I mean, you tell me exactly what I said. Do you remember?"
Basically, like, what are you wearing?
Yeah, what are you wearing? So Steven never wore a hat.
It's like, yeah. It's like,
And it was a hat you got for Christmas.
it's like,
And Steven
I guess I'm not. I'm not wearing anything now that you mention it.
So bad, so bad. But then, again, Steven took it to heart. Didn't wear a hat for the rest of his high school career. But then he started wearing hats in college. You had so many hats. You had all the hats. You were a hat guy, and I never. It was. Well, and maybe I helped Steven. But when you told me that story, dude, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my god, I totally just destroyed his whole. And it was a hat he got for Christmas from his grandpa or grandma, I'm sure. Like, guys, just be wary, man. Be wary with what you say. But again, with the coaches.
Right.
That's why, with Winning in Mind, when they talk about the positivity, like talk positive only, especially during competition, like it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, some coaches will be like, "Well, no, we can fix this. We can fix this little tweak for the next match and all this stuff." It's like, but you can't, because when they're wrestling, they're not gonna think of what you said 10
Yeah,
minutes
little
ago.
tweaks aren't taken out in between matches like that.
No.
Yeah.
No. You can say it in match.
Small adjustments, like maybe, don't, if you're a legger, say don't throw legs on this guy, right? Do something like those kind of tweaks, or
Like,
hey, make sure to finish high on your single leg with this guy,
yeah.
like that kind of tweak. But hey, when you're scrambling here, make sure to do this, or
Hey, you're not sprawling in time or things. It's like there's not
those
much
have
you
to
can
be
do.
drilled.
They have to be drilled.
Yeah.
They got to be drilled into your self too,
Mm-hmm.
which is Inner Game of Tennis. These are good books. Everyone, read these books. Hit subscribe.
Yep, zoom in. We'll if you want some links, send you some links.
Yeah, we could probably put some links on here. Look, there's scale right there.
If you have any book recommendations, feel free to drop them in the
We
comments.
got Kale and Dan on that one.
And then is that Terry?
I think so. Oh, but it's on an Iowa singlet. I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
It's another wrestler. He's great. He's great. Oh, looking at the outline. So, hard truths, the times you compromise your standards. I compromised them last weekend. I yelled at the kids.
Yeah.
I went back to old coaching.
I don't think there's anything wrong with yelling at the kids. It's the content. You're saying you're a piece of shit.
Okay, well,
You didn't
I've
do
never
anything
said
right.
that.
Why are you such a dumbass? I literally just showed you that 5 minutes ago. That's different compared to why the hell are you going out there and
Hitting a reversal
being
when you're
so
down 5.
cold? Or yeah, why are you out there doing that when you've never done that move before?
Yeah, that's true.
Why are you going out there
Hitting it.
and feeling the pressure and cowering instantly? Like there's nothing wrong with yelling. I think I got yelled at plenty as a kid, so I think it's
Yeah, but
necessary at times to show emphasis,
haven't you
but it's
seen,
the context.
Stephen? We're trying to break generations with what we're doing here. We're trying to break generations. I don't
Well,
care
why
if
does
you're-
the military yell at you?
Because we're making robots.
It's to harden.
I know, I know.
So it's necessary. And in this sport, I think yelling is. It's not all the time, but we have to harden our athletes. We
I
have
think
to. And there's a tough love, right? Because these are all so in an army, these are all superiors. These are all commanders, right? Like they're all on the same team. They're just trying to make sure you don't get your brother shot, or your brother get you shot,
sure.
or you two get me shot.
the sacrifices are a little more
Right, they're higher stakes,
higher stakes.
right?
But I will say, instead of yelling to yell, which we've had coaches do, right? It's more of changing, because like Kale Sanderson,
People who yell too much, they don't understand when to use it. It's
Right.
it's a valuable
It's-
tool, but it can't be used overused.
right? And it's not a yell per se, but you're intensifying your voice to make them understand they need
Add
to be
emphasis.
listening. Yeah.
Yep.
You need to be listening to me right now, because you're not, and now my voice is getting louder because you're not fucking listening, right? It's that, and like to your point, that context that you're putting in, right? Like if you're yelling at them just to yell and and you yell all the time, the kids one ear out the other. But you can say it calmly. I bet Kale Sanderson never yells. I bet his tone changes if
Yep.
everyone cowers.
Yep.
But that's the.
I think there's
That's
times when
culture.
his voice raises,
Yeah.
right?
He gets a little flustered.
Yeah.
But I like I like this outline written here. Us as coaches, to your point of being the foundational, the lighthouse for the, we have written here, coaches set the emotional thermostat.
We do. And that's our responsibility, right?
So when a kid comes off crying, we can't set the thermostat to match his crying. We gotta heat it up a little bit. With
Or at least,
positivity, with all these things.
right? Keeping it baseline.
Yeah. But, if a kid comes off the match of losing, we're obviously here, but we got to set it just a couple notches above us while the kid's down here, so he can at least get, we have kids who lose, and it's like, dude, we have to set the thermostat for some of our coaches on the staff, right? Our 65-pounder wins a tournament, and he's getting yelled at, and it's like, I had to take that coach and be like, hey, he didn't get taken down all tournament. What are we upset about? Well, he should have done. It's like, let's talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah. In the car ride, maybe.
Yeah.
At least wait to the car ride.
You calm down. He calms down. Like he won the tournament and didn't get taken down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a really, I think this should be said in our coaches meeting. Like, we are the emotional thermostat. We can't let kids' emotions get carried. And obviously kids can show emotion.
Yeah.
Our 75-pounder, when he threw his headgear that one duel, and I sent our assistant coach over there, one of the other assistants, we're assistant coaches, by the way, because I was like, I knew I could not talk to him. So I had to send, was it you?
Yeah, I went over there. Yeah.
I had to say, you go talk to him, because I knew I wouldn't be able to set that thermostat correctly. But he needed it because he's throwing his headgear. He's being a little crybaby. And we can say that here. We would never say it to him. But I really like that line.
Absolutely.
I think that's a, and
it's a big responsibility of ours.
Yeah.
Right. And it plays into our leadership. Like, I think a great leader is how well you can regulate the emotions of your squad, your team, your unit, whatever it is.
Dude, that's a great way to put it. Squad, because like the army, right?
Yeah.
The leaders don't break down emotionally, because if that
They
person
can't.
breaks down,
they can't.
The whole squad breaks down.
Yep. Like on emotional kind of structure, I really do. I envision and mimic the military style. Because they're all in there, and I wasn't in the military, so I don't know and wasn't trained in that. But my dad was, my grandfather was, I think left to my own decisions when I was at that age, I would have done it. But my dad had talked me into going a different route, so I went a different route. But I've always really admired the structure and the brotherhood and the collectiveness, where it's so tough and strict, and you have to be on doing your job correctly, or else your boy gets shot, or and you have to trust that your boy is doing all his stuff correctly, or you're getting shot. And how everything is designed around that, and the collective of getting the mission done, getting the job done. And then I've watched, I just love those kind of documentaries of hearing about war games and things that went on, overseas, and just hearing those stories. But a huge common theme in them all is, I don't know the lingo, but I'm just going to say a squad or a battalion, something like that, right? But they have a leader, a commander, but he is a brother with them too, and he's often behind. Like, he's the last guy, making sure that everyone's getting to where they need to go, right? And everyone's got a job. There's a check mark here and a check mark here, and he's, right, there's this communication. Everyone knows their points and where they got to be from here to here, and it's this progression, and it works automatically, and then you add all of that on top of, well, and you and I have definitely experienced this, and within us being on the same team, but with our separate college teams, is when you are in adversity with another teammate, how much that bonds you together, right? So you add the structure of actually going and completing a mission, plus the stressors and the adversity of it all, right? I mean, you just have this bond, this communication, and there's this telepathic, we know what the objective is, and we're gonna complete that, and that's the only objective, and that kind of, that's that baseline, right? If that's our expectation of our guys.
Why does the military correlate so well with wrestling? Like, as you were talking the whole time, I couldn't help but think, like, the only thing different is, like, it's not as team-based. Like, if you lose your match, doesn't mean I'm going to lose my match, right? But in the room, it matters.
Mm-hmm.
How we train and how we drill and our culture matters. If we don't hold this culture the same, you may lose the match because of that room.
Mm-hmm.
Football's, a lot of people compare football to military because it's very team-based. If you don't catch the ball, you fucked up the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I think, in football you also have the other side of, like, I'm the best athlete on the team. Like, you have to catch the ball. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, me being the best quarterback doesn't mean you're going to catch all the balls. But me being the best wrestler in the room will make you better.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. It bleeds through a little more.
I
It's
think so.
not
I think
as
they're very, very similar.
it's not
Football,
as separated as far as like your talents are separated for your job and
right?
etc. And if you do better at your job, it doesn't really affect me and my job as much
But it kind of in the room it does.
in the room, right? In training, right?
If
Right.
I am a better wrestler and we're drill partners,
Mm-hmm.
it will make you a better wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
and you will
And
ride the coattails to a point where
and the better a team gets, the more it's effective,
yeah,
right? Whereas if you
better,
don't have a good enough team, yeah, it's not as effective. But if you have a team that's pretty solid
yeah,
equally, that plays effect in how you place at tournaments and how you do at duels.
100%. And the duels, like you have a kid who, you know, everyone thinks he's not going to win, and he pins the kid in a duel. What's that do to the rest of the team?
Jacks them up.
Jacks.
Yep.
Right? Just like Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rudy was the water boy, right? I've seen the movie once. So
Yeah, it's been a long time, but
you know, he raises that whole Notre Dame team to be what to have a movie after them. But
right.
It's not like they went and won a national title because of Rudy. You know what I mean? But that culture, that building of everything, and you know, you talking about military just really, I was like, damn, that really sounds a lot like wrestling. Like, we have to have each other's back. You can't be the best wrestler in the room. Even our best wrestler now holds everyone accountable. He's starting to creep up to that leadership of the team,
Mm-hmm.
where he doesn't want to be on a bad team. He wants the team to be better.
Yep.
And wrestling, a lot of kids who come into wrestling and think it's such a solo sport lose that aspect, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time in college if you think that way.
Yep.
Because the room does.
Room's tough.
Oh, dude.
It'll eat you up.
It'll eat you up.
Yeah.
Um.
So like beyond, let's just take it beyond the wins and losses, right? And more. Let's start with just current. Regionals for some kids, this isn't their last week, but for a couple, it could be, and that means their season's over.
It could be their last week of their career too.
And it could be the last week of their career, right? So A, their season's over, or B, their career is over. You know, I remember when high school was done for me, but you know, it's final, it's done, and if you didn't or haven't accomplished what you wanted to, you almost feel like something was taken away from you, right? Like yeah, like yeah, straight through the fingers, you know. What do we do going in for our guys like that? And you know, what's the message that we send to the guy that walks off and this is his last weekend?
I think
Knowing that he has that feeling like he just lost something. Not lost it, but like something was taken from him.
Right. I think it, you know, right off the top of my head, like, I think we have to really lean on what we've really been harping on and teaching this year of wrestling's not the only thing. And you lost something here, you can find it somewhere else. You know, and wrestling as a sport will help you find it somewhere else. And so, even if it's your last week of the season and you're coming back next, that's okay. Guess what? We can find something greater next year. Kids who our career is over, go find it at track in college. Go find it at your career in college, career after college. But what this coaching mantra and methodology that we're trying to find is supposed to get these kids, not right away, right? They lose it, they're going to have that feeling. We can't take that feeling away from them. They're going to have the feeling.
It's meant to be. Yeah,
Right.
it's part of the whole
Part of
process.
it was taken from them. You're going to feel that doubt, disappointment. But what wrestling does is shows you that you are capable to get it elsewhere, and God shows you that too,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you have to have faith in what you've done in your past to get you here will push you further. And I think wrestling is the only sport to do that.
So,
in my opinion.
to put it not in different words, but to briefly summarize, you're saying that it's possible to come out even though they didn't accomplish their goals, but to have confidence that's applied to the next endeavor.
Yeah. Steven, you're a walking billboard for that. You had that thing slipped from you senior year. And you came out greater than I think anyone else did. Right? You went and wrestled college. You went and found a scholarship for wrestling in college. You went and found the best friends that you could ever have for the rest of your life at that college.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, it turned into a huge blessing, right? I did not get close to achieving what I achieved or wanted to, but
the losing of that achievement isn't the reason you got blessed. But how you faced that feeling, which I think wrestling taught you how to face, got you that blessing.
Right. Applying. Mm-hmm. I agree with you on trying to share that message with the guys if we have to. Hopefully that, we don't have to until next weekend, right?
Or next year.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, ideally, right? Next year. 7 state champs. That would be sick. Oh, that would be so sick.
No, I'm talking about certain people.
Right. Yeah. But, and really, I think as far as career enders, I think we only have one that we may have to have that conversation with. But, as far as everybody else,
strong, I'm not too worried about him.
Yeah.
If it happened, I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But I think he is gravitated towards our coaching and the change in coaching this year. That I think he's enjoying the sport more than he ever has. He's running into some adversities that we don't quite know how to handle with our words yet, because it's our first year really attempting this. Instead of just saying get tougher, we're trying to really attempt this mental push through. But I think he's strong enough.
Yeah, I think
75 pounder.
I was thinking more about like
our
50 pounder, who's a senior.
44 pounder.
44 pounder. Yeah, who's a senior. And
yeah, he's
it's gonna hurt regardless of
no.
It's just gonna hurt, and I think if we do our best to give him that message, then it'll let the pain do what it has to do, and then. But here's another thing: is we've been, at least for him, we've really encouraged and supported and pushed his mental thing has been not to quit this year.
Yeah.
He is. I think he's wanted to quit probably since before Christmas, and he has I think he understands now why quitting is not a good idea or hasn't been a good idea, and why finishing out the season is so important. And because he's figured that out, I give him a round of applause, because that's frankly all I really care about any of these wrestlers coming out of the program with.
What is wrestling? It's teaching them not to quit.
If they've learned that, then I feel like that's my baseline.
He'll do things,
don't quit the damn sport.
He'll do things outside of wrestling,
and
because of wrestling, way better.
And to see something through, to push through, even when it's miserable and things aren't working out, and oh man, I really overshot my goal. Oh wow, it's because I see how much I missed out on previous years. these things, but yet I'm going to stick with it because I told myself that I would.
Yeah.
And so kudos to him.
For sure.
100%. I love that. And that's a job well done, in my opinion.
I think so. I think we might have to have a conversation with our 75-pounder of the goals not being reached. But again, this whole coaching this whole mantra that we've been doing, I just want to finish my thought on our 75-pounder, is I think he's taught us more about how to coach this year than we've taught him wrestling. Not because not because our technique wasn't.
He certainly has made us stretch ourselves and trying to get creative and because I think we could have approached him with the classic approach, but I don't know if that would be any more effective than what we're trying to do anyway. But at least we're trying to, yeah,
adapting and like figuring things out. And what we implemented with him, we tried implementing with the 44-pounder or with our 32-pounder, or all these different things, especially with injuries and stuff. How we approach the heavyweight, and it's given us reps.
Yeah, lots of reps.
Do we know,
Agreed.
do we see the results of each rep? No, because when we're coaching, the results of our reps are going to be further away from the rep.
Delayed
Gratification for
sure.
But yeah, I was just like, I think if the conversations happen this week, there are a couple kids where I'm not worried about where that kid's going after. Does that make sense?
Agreed. And actually, with all our kids, and even the one that I think that we'd have that conversation with, I'm not worried about him either.
No.
Yeah, he'll do just fine.
He will do just fine.
Yeah, I saw it in him. Like I said, he wanted to quit, but he made the decision, and now he's just purely focused on getting through the season. And it's not just getting through the season. He wants to get through the season the best he can. Like I've been watching his workouts, and he is pushing every workout. When we did our peak run on Saturday,
he did good.
He was lapping a couple of dudes.
Nice.
He was in second place the whole time.
Who's first? 65?
Yep. Only lapped him once. But both those guys lapped everyone at least twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should call Coach Reeder up and have him.
So, like just seeing that and that tells me that he's figured out why he's wrestling.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
A lot of kids don't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, to try to ask, our audience, the ones who are subscribing and following.
And commenting too.
And commenting, yeah. Please comment.
And they're sharing too,
please
I think.
Comment the hardships you faced in life and how you handled the adversity. Oh, man. I mean, another line I like to see here. Pressure or adversity, I'd say, because we've been really talking about adversity. Adversity isn't the enemy. Avoidance is.
Mm-hmm.
There's another quote out there that's like that. It's like, is it the only thing you should fear is fear itself or something? What is it? It's like the same basic thing. It's like if you avoid something, you're failing.
Yep.
Right? You should always face your fears.
Yeah.
I thought there was a better quote out there. Yeah, I don't remember.
There's a couple like that though.
Sure.
There's like a fail forward instead of fail backward, or fall forward instead of fail backward.
If you're always going to, you're never going to get it right the first time.
Failing in action is better than inaction. But yeah, like 100%, right? There's intent's one thing, and I think that's a huge driver and power behind whatever it is that we're doing. But you can have all the intent in the world, but if you don't put a foot forward, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you're not going to go anywhere.
Doesn't matter how good it is.
Well, it's like we tell our guys, you can't score points if you don't shoot.
Right. It's like, a guy comes off the match, or you ask him before a match, hey, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to do that, and then, or they shake hands. All right, and then the first thing is no hands, no feet moving,
Or
right?
back up.
Or backing up, and so you can have all the intent, but if there's no action put in place, then that's just kind of where it ends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. You're saying if you don't take a step forward, you never go
Right.
forward.
Yeah. You can't walk if you're not walking.
If you're standing, if you're standing there, you ain't walking.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good. And like true growth, like if you want to grow as a person, as a wrestler, as anything, a CEO, and all this stuff, like you're gonna have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to face these fires that are you're going to be tested. You're never gonna walk through life never being tested. If you know somebody, if you've never been tested in your life, write a book and tell us how you're doing it, because
Or like Rodney Atkins says, right? If you're going through hell, keep on going.
you're doing
Right?
something right.
But you can't get through hell if you're not walking through it.
No,
You know?
you gotta walk.
You gotta keep
You gotta take a step.
right. Action.
Action, not inaction.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I think that's our podcast today, dude.
Yeah, we got through a lot today.
We got through a lot.
Yeah.
And we got, maybe we'll talk about how to rebuild after failure next time.
I think we should. But also, here in about a month, we've got some big wrestling coming up.
Ooh,
Maybe we might be
No
chatting a
way.
little bit about that. I don't know.
way.
Maybe
Are
we.
you saying we might have some?
I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Should we like do a commentary on some March wrestling? Should we talk
have
about
some-
matches? Should we do match
should we have some
review?
guests join the show?
Have some guests start coming on.
Other wrestling people.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Hit that button.
Smash it.
Hit the button, Steven. You gotta hit
Yeah.
it with it. Hit it with it.
Smash that button.
Smash this button. It's over here though.
That button.
All right, guys. Well, thanks, dude.
Thank you. See you on the next episode.
Comment, subscribe,
Coach's Journal.
follow Coach's Journal.
Peace.
Out, Girl Scout.